Oh, well, it ended fast. There we go. That's where we say good evening, angels. It's our afterlife show. So I guess we do need to say our intros. Everybody, this is Mulberry Bush and Psychic Medium Tree with another episode of Mulberry Trimmings.
Tonight we're talking about the afterlife.
Yes.
So if you're curious as to, what happens in the afterlife, I will certainly, give my spiel on it. And everybody pretty much dies. Well, that is except for a professional skier because they just go downhill.
That is a good one. Well, I've consulted every world religion, and apparently they all feel there is some kind of afterlife. So I've pulled up. I have, if we get to it, I have the Egyptian Book of the Dead reference material to quote from. I have Journey of Soul reference material to quote from, and I have from Hinduism. I have the Bhagavad-Gita, or just plain old the Gita. To quote from, the Gita.
Okay.
So I could quote from any one of those when it comes to the afterlife and regular conversation on what happens when we die. I go with what Edgar Casey says and the Hindus, and that's that we come back.
Yes, we absolutely come back.
Reincarnate. Maybe in human form. I'm not sure. Probably.
Yeah.
I think once you reach human, you're here. That's my thing.
So, is it a good time for me to talk about the stages?
Sure.
Of death and afterlife?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Okay. So, according to reports by people, and since I also do hypnosis for past life exploration, my clients all state the same. And it is in accordance as well as with Michael Newton's clients and what they have to say about what happens after we pass. But the first stage is, you die, okay? And people state that they are either in the room looking over their body or next to their body, and they see the body that is no more. And so that's coming to terms with, that they just passed.
Yeah.
Stage 2 is when, they feel an energetic vibrational pull, and they are pulled into their subconscious, pulled into an area that people who've had near-death experiences or, from hypnosis will state that then they see light forms. And then the third is they are greeted by many angelic beings, including family members that have passed, and met by also their spirit guide, which sees you throughout your many different lifetimes. And after that, you do go to the last stage is that we know about is you go to the a life review with the council, and it's like the wise council. And you are able to, in some type of form, you have an awakening. Your knowledge and state is that of completely understanding and knowing what you did in your life, how you did in your life. If you've hurt someone, you actually experience that through some type of empathy,
like
energy.
A penance kind of thing.
Yeah, and there is no time. There's no time over there. So we are confined in the lower realm in time and space. So that is what, and then after the council decides what you learned and what you didn't, they will decide with you and your spirit guide. It's a combination effort as to how you will need to reincarnate if you need to.
Hmm.
So pretty cool stuff.
That is.
Yeah. So callers, call in.
Yeah, definitely call in. That's an interesting take on it. That I'll after this next tune, that's when I'll read from the Gita, because it's very similar and very brief. I'm only going to do brief things.
Okay.
I might do the Egyptian Book of the Dead and the Gita at the same time. That way.
Egyptian Book of the Dead.
I do.
Awesome.
Well, it's a reference book on the Egyptian Book of the Dead, which is just a few scrolls. So those scrolls are in here.
Okay.
But this is much more like a documentary on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, let me go ahead and start the next tune. It is I'm going to read from the Bhagavad-Gita. This is chapter 9. The most confidential knowledge. That's the English translation of chapter 9. And then I'm going to read verses 20, 21, and 22. Okay. And this is in relation to what I feel like I pinpointed as to one of the conversations about the afterlife in Hinduism, because this is just a portion of their books, and this is just a portion of one of the portions of that book. Just like when I try to read from the Bible, it's the same difference. It's like one little part here is talking about that. So here's the 3 sentences. Those that study the Vedas and drink the soma juice worship me. And by me, it's the me, the self, the I, the superconsciousness, not the Godhead, but the superconsciousness behind the Godhead. That's me. Okay, so those that study the Vedas and drink the soma juice worship me indirectly. Seeking the heavenly planets, they take birth in Indraloka, where they enjoy godly delights. Now, Indraloka is the heaven that you view through intoxication. It's a third heaven. It's not really the heaven of heavens that you reincarnate from. So we'll go back to that. They take birth on Indraloka, where they enjoy godly delights. When they have thus enjoyed heavenly sense pleasure, they return to this mortal planet again. Thus, through the Vedic principles, they achieve only flickering happiness. But those who devote themselves steadfastly to me, meditating on my transcendental form, receive all bounties and securities from me. So the Vedas that study this stuff and then take the intoxicants and get to this enlightened stage are, in essence, getting it the way those that truly understand the transcendental state of the consciousness and can meditate to it on their own. That's what this portion is saying. But this portion is also one of the books of one of the gurus that make up the greater body of the Bhagavad-Gita, right? So what do I know?
Oh, that's so interesting.
Isn't it?
Yes. You know, and similar, the Jewish faith and the Christian faith also have similar statements about the afterlife.
It's very true.
Yes.
It's very true. That's why I pointed that out. I wasn't pointing out the highlights of the drug use part of that. I was trying to highlight how you're only there for a short time and then it's time to come back.
That's right.
And that even though we do appreciate spirit and we do appreciate being able to talk to those that we've lost because they're a part of our cycle through this conscious world.
Yes.
It is important to transition back to this properly, not in reverse as spirit form.
Right. And all religions have some form of belief in the afterlife.
That's true.
And, you know, the whole quote, unless you be something about if you believe in me, you can have everlasting life.
Yeah.
And you have to be born again.
Yeah.
That a lot of religions have taken that incorrectly. Being born again, actually, Jesus was meaning reincarnation.
Plausibly.
And evolvement.
Right.
So that's just an interesting quote. And also the Book of the Dead.
Yes.
That is interesting. Are you going to go over that?
I can go over some
please
of that.
do.
You want me to pull that up too? Hold on, let me see. All right. Let me check what's the time. Okay. I am. Can I play one tune in between looking it up? Because it's going to take me a minute to reference it.
Listen to one tune and then get back to it, and make sure that you call in, listeners. We're waiting for you.
Okay. Well, with this one, because it will seem a bit ritualistic in the sense of what I will be reading from the Egyptian Book of the Dead will seem as if I'm standing before the Egyptian god of the dead and proving that my soul can live longer than him. All right. Hold on. Okay. I'm going to play Circle in the Sand. I guess I could point it out now. I mean, what you learn in one concept, and when you're sitting there in the first grade and you're thinking, man, what did they just say in Sunday school about you die and go to heaven? What is that? And your brain starts thinking about it. Is the same thing as if you were in Egyptian kindergarten.
Yeah.
And you were thinking, they said your soul goes to Amet and talks to the Pharaoh. What does that mean? You know, you still think about it afterwards. So it's still the same difference.
Mm-hmm.
It's the human condition.
Yes.
So you were saying you have reference. You have a reference as well. I am going to read from this.
Yeah, read from the Egyptian Book of the Dead. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about the Tibetan Book of the Dead.
Okay. So all right. And I'm anybody that's an expert at the Egyptian Book of the Dead might point out where I'm messing up my reference material here, but this is from chapter 9, which I believe means scroll number 9, and it's the chapter of coming forth by day after passing through the Amet, which the Amet is like the veil of death, right? So after passing through the veil of death, right? The Osiris Ani, that's the portion of Osiris's soul that is in this person that just died, right? The Osiris Ani saith, Hail, soul, thou mighty one of terror. Verily, I am here. I have come. I behold thee. I have passed through the Tuat. I have seen Father Osiris. I have scattered the gloom of night. I am his beloved one. I have come. I have seen my father Osiris. I have stabbed the heart of Suti, which Suti is death, right? I have stabbed the heart of Suti. I have made offerings to my father Osiris. I have opened every way in heaven and on earth. I am the son who loveth his father Osiris. I am a spirit body. I am a spirit soul. I am equipped. Hail every god and every spirit soul. I have made the way to Osiris. I, the Osiris, the scribe, Ani, whose word is truth.
Well, boom. That is
Send
beautiful.
Me back. Isn't that power?
It is beautiful.
It is so powerful. I love that
so
stuff.
Powerful. Yeah.
Right? Isn't it?
It is.
Every time I hear the Egyptian stuff, I'm like, man, they had it.
They really
did. They knew
did.
what they were doing. They knew how to tell their people stuff.
Yes, they did. And then on the other side of the continent, you know, you've got the Tibetan Book of the Dead.
That's true as well.
Which the Tibetan text describes. It's intended to guide one through the experiences that the consciousness has after death in the what they call bardo, the interval between death and the next rebirth. The text includes chapters on the signs of death and rituals to undertake when death is closing in or has taken place. So it's, you know, you can use it as practice for advanced trained meditators or support the uninitiated during the death experience.
The uninitiated, man, it does not pay to not pay attention when you're in afterlife school.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's right.
Yeah.
You know, and then there's ghosts who are avoiding their life review, or some are just traumatized and they don't want to, you know, they don't want to leave yet because they're traumatized, or they don't, you know, they feel a little lost. So there's that happening. And you know, I have to ask you, what do you think ghosts' favorite streets are?
That would be You get so serious when you ask that question. Well, I don't know. Psychic medium tree. What?
Well, Ghost's favorite streets are the dead end.
Oh, the dead end.
Yes,
I
yes,
should have
yes,
thought of
yes.
that one.
Yes.
Well, why am I not getting any of those? My brain doesn't want to do it. I just start laughing. That's why, because it seems so straightforward. That is too funny.
Yeah.
I was going to say I don't know. I was trying to come up with something. It wasn't coming fast enough. The Boulevard. I don't know. That's
the Boulevard.
Yeah, I know. I mean, you already answered it, but Boulevard sounds like a good ghost street too.
It does.
Down the Boulevard.
Ooh, that does sound like a good ghost street.
That's funny.
Yeah, so if you have questions about the afterlife, death, rebirth, I'd really encourage you to get hypnosis and explore your past life as well as afterlife. It is a deep meditative state that you are taken in. And Michael Newton is a fantastic author, and you're going to tell us about Journey of Souls.
Kind of like maybe pull up a reference or two in this, and it's kind of the de facto guide to some of the conversations with spirits after they've passed.
Mm-hmm.
So so I didn't want to like take too much out of it in that case, but it's really interviews with people that have either passed or with spirit conversation that he's had and things like that. So it's an entire book of that, just different afterlife.
Yes, and when he says people who have passed, he means in hypnosis, going through to your past life, people do re-experience the death part as an observer. And as an observer, you tell the hypnotist what you are seeing and experiencing. And it's fascinating how congruent the clients who are undergoing hypnosis, how they all say literally the same about the transition part.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
that's
these are
curious.
Thousands and thousands of people who've undergone hypnosis for past life exploration, not just with that practitioner, but with practitioners all over the world.
That is fascinating.
Yeah.
Well, if you'd like, I just kind of opened it randomly to case 20. Do you want me to read the doctor and patient line for line back and forth, which is 1 to 2 pages of back and forth?
Sure. Or if you need a break, I'll help read.
Oh, yeah. You want to read back and forth?
Sure.
I can be the doctor and you can be S, whoever S is.
Yep.
S is case number 20.
I'll be S.
Okay. Oh, S must be Chavez because Dr. N says, Chavez, now that you have died and returned to the spirit world, tell me what you feel.
Cheated. The life was so cruel. I couldn't stay. I was only a little girl, unable to help anybody. What a mistake.
Who made this mistake?
My leader. I trusted his judgment, but he was wrong to send me in that cruel life to be killed before my life got started.
But you did agree to come into the body of Chavez.
I didn't know Earth could be such an awful place full of terror. I wasn't given all the facts. The whole stupid life was a mistake, and my leader is responsible.
Didn't you learn anything from this life?
I started to learn to love. Yes, that was wonderful. My brother, parents, but it was so short.
Did anything good come out of this life?
My brother Ahmed, to be with him.
Is Ahmed in your present life?
Oh, I can't believe it. Ahmed is my husband, Bill. The same person. How can...
Do you see Ahmed or on your return to the spirit world after dying as Chavez?
Yes, our leader brings us together here where we stay.
Does Ahmed emit the same energy color as yourself, or are there differences?
We are all white.
Describe what you do here.
Well, our leader comes and goes. Ahmed and I just work together.
Doing what?
We search out what we think about ourselves, our experience on Earth. I'm still sore about us being killed so soon, but there was happiness, walking in the sun, breathing the air of Earth, love.
Okay. And there's one more page.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go back further to the time before you and Ahmed had your life together, perhaps when you were alone. What was it like being created?
I don't know. I was just here with thought.
Do you remember during your own creation when you first began to think as an intelligent being?
I realized I existed, but I didn't know myself as myself until I was moved into this quiet place alone with Ahmed.
Are you saying your individual identity came more into focus when you began interacting with another soul entity beside your guide?
Yes, with Ahmed.
Keep to the time before Ahmed. What was it like for you then?
Warm, nurturing, my mind opening. She was with me then.
She? I thought your leader displayed a male gender to you.
I don't mean him. Someone was around me with the presence of a mother and father, mostly mother.
What presence?
I don't know. A soft light, changing features. I can't grasp it. Loving messages, encouragement.
This was at the time of your creation as a soul?
Yes, it's all hazy. There were others, helpers, when I was born.
What else can you tell me about the place of your creation?
Others loved me in a nursery. Then we left, and I was with Ahmed and our leader.
Who actually created you and Ahmed?
The one.
There you go.
Wow. I think the one, the divine, like there's no words really to describe, just the one.
Yeah.
Wow,
it
fascinating.
does go into that, the logos concept.
Yeah. So that's Journey of Souls by Michael Newton.
Yeah.
It's a fabulous read. I would highly recommend it to everyone.
It really is it is a go-to book without a doubt.
Yeah.
So I believe that the forces of nature and our time is running down. So what does that say we're at?
So join us, psychicmediumtree.com if you want a reading by Zoom, FaceTime, or in person, or
aroundthemulberrybush.com and or TikTok mulberrybush 9340.
Yeah.
And
thanks for listening.